Let's turn to the big questions then today. Republic Day tractor march. Was it a recipe, as some are calling it, for anarchy? Have the farmers and the farm movement lost the people's trust and sympathy as a result? Has the violence discredited the entire farmers' stir? Is it right to blame the entire farmers' movement for the actions of a few? And was there an intel failure from the Delhi police as well? I'm joined by Yogendra Yadav, President Swaraj India, Gurpreet Singh, President Global Sikh Council, R.P. Singh, BJP spokesperson, Supriya Srinath of the Congress, V.M. Singh, convener All India Kisan Sangharsh Coordination Committee, Yashovardhan Azad, former IPS officer. Yogendra Yadav, why don't you answer the big question first? The manner in which these protests took place. You had promised me as last night also that there would be peaceful, entirely, this was going to be a celebration, you said, of Republic Day. Was this a celebration, what we saw, the kind of scenes, especially at the Red Fort and at the ITO area?
Rajdeep, we intended it to, and we designed it to be a celebration of Republic. We took all precautions that we possibly could. And yeah, Rajdeep, we intended it to be a celebration of Republic. We took all precautions that we possibly could. And at the end of this very, very special day, I feel disappointed and regretful. Disappointed because it did not turn out to be what we wanted it to be. Regretful because of the incident that happened at Lal Killa, also the one person that who died in all this. You cannot but feel deeply remorseful about something of this kind. I could say that both the incidents that have been reported of barricades being broken, barricades were being broken primarily by a group which has nothing to do with Sanghyukt Kisan Morcha. This is something called Mazdoor Kisan Sangharsh Samiti, which is beyond the pale, literally beyond the pale of Singhu border. They stay outside, they have nothing to do with us. And the police, intelligence, everyone knew that this group is uncontrollable, indisciplined. This is what they did. And in the case of the Red Fort incident, Mr. Deep Sidhu, everyone knows who he is. And farmers' movement for the last 4 months have kept him at bay. He is a persona non grata for us. And because of his kind of leanings, he was incidentally also BJP's election agent in the previous election for for BJP's MP. But at the same time, the fact is that this happened in a movement that we had organized. Sunny Deol, that's right. Yeah, I just forgot the name, Sunny Deol. The fact is that this happened in a movement that we had given a call for. And even if it was sabotage, we cannot escape the responsibility for allowing someone to do this sabotage. I also think that this is also a moment, this is almost like a Capitol Hill moment in the US. Someone can march into Red Fort where you have army and hoist any kind of flag they want. That's another question that we should think about. We should also think of a deeper question. You have these farmers for 2 months here. Yes, they've been very patient. Yes, they've been very peaceful. But at the end of it, frustration builds in. And how do you control a frustration of this kind with a government which is not at all serious about responding to what the farmers are demanding for the last 2 months? These are bigger questions, but not to escape our responsibility at all.
Mr. Yadav, I'm listening. Mr. Yadav, I'm listening to you patiently, but I'm afraid that many people out there will run out of patience, particularly when they see the images that they see today. They will say this was a recipe in a way for this kind of violence, because you know you say that you want to bring in as many farmers as part of this tractor march. You have no control over it. Today you are saying these are some outside groups which you knew would be uncontrollable. There is Deep Sidhu, who you are blaming for what happened at the Red Fort. This is inexcusable. With due regard, Mr. Yadav, and I have a lot of regard for you, this is inexcusable, because what you have done as a result is in a way damaged, some would say, the credibility of the entire movement, and your claim against the farm laws will now be weighed against what we've seen today. Violence is unacceptable.
Rajdeep, we have always said violence is unacceptable. Not just that, we have said peace is our biggest strength. And indeed, what has happened today would damage us, would hurt us. And that's why we need to think, we need to introspect. I just wanted to bring attention to the fact that this was done by two groups which have been identified. So I'm not conjuring them up this evening. Even yesterday, everyone knew about both these situations, which could not be controlled. And I'm simply saying the larger question still remains, and that's something we need to think about. Here are about lakh farmers sitting in Delhi for 2 months, patiently waiting and waiting and waiting. I'm saying all this because people like us have to answer this question to young people every day. I had to do it in my own parade. I was part of the Shahjahanpur parade today, which passed off completely peacefully. But I had to answer hundreds of young people. How long are you going to do it? 2 months, you've been waiting. The government doesn't want to respond. Let's march to Delhi. We'll do something. The government is, I'm afraid, creating a situation where those who want peace and moderation are being pressurized from all sides.